Good morning, afternoon. We're back with AC/DC, bringing us in live, and my good friend Jim Lample just walked in the show. Hi, Jim. You look spectacular. I love your hair. What do you put on that? Dippity-doo or some kind of hair lotion?
Looks more like drippity-doo.
All right. I know you're talking to me. I'm sure you're saying something nice. Anyways, this is the part where I get to do my monologue. Where are we at on that situation? Eric?
Are you ready for the Todd motivation of the day?
Woo! How does it get any better than that, American radio people, listeners, and viewers? Do you want to be average? Yes, I'm Todd Saylor, and this is my motivation for you, the secret sauce, the thing I want to bring you that separates you from everybody else. My job is to love you, to care about you, to charge you, to challenge you, to help you think, and yes, motivate you. Today and every day, we need to dare to be different, to be better, to fight for something, to push our comfort levels, to actually challenge the status quo. I mean, embrace change, baby. Bending that rascal to our favor, remarkably twisting change, and actually having and incorporating a plan to do of sorts. To be different, to be more than, to give more, to gain more, to love more, to actually make a difference in any field. You see, people, you can do this in operations. You can do this in business. You can do this in your job. You can do this in your sports or even personal relationships. Come on, radio people. You must decide to answer the question honestly. You must be truthful with yourself. Do you want to be average? Are you in a rut? Are you stuck? Are you coasting? Oh my, don't coast. Are you declining? Are you that pesky pixel wheel of death spinning on your Mac? Can't stand that, dude. Are you standing for the national anthem? Are you standing for anything? Do you have a plan? I got to tell you, listeners, viewers, pay attention right here. This may be the most important thing you ever hear, Robert. It's not about your status or your title. It's not about your genetics. It's not about that silver spoon you were born with or even that ghetto you were born in. It's not even about your bank account or your portfolio or even that double-wide trailer you live in. You see, radio people, it's about your mind, your willingness to separate. It's not only the efforts that we make, but the distance we're willing to go, Robert. I'm going to say that one more time.
You should.
It's not about the efforts that we make. It's about the distance we're willing to go. My daddy told me, Todd, Butch, there's always someone bigger, faster, stronger, smarter. You have to have legs. You have to go the distance. That's the separation. You see, radio people, these are the things I need you to know. Simply being above average is a commitment to grow, to plan, to separate, to gain, and then give back. Simply being above average is answering the question by saying, no, I don't want to be average. And then getting to work and saying, I can. Do you want to be average? Is this the call of America? Literally, the call of America is not to be average. Literally, the rally cry to be better, to do better, to change and bend your future your way. America, please, I implore you, I even beg you, move on this today and decide for you and yours. Make a plan, separate and believe. You can do this. I'm here with you all the way. With that, I tell you I love you. I tell you we can do this thing, Daddy-O. This is what you give me. You gave me this passion. You fire me up.
Butchie boy, that's my Butchie boy.
What do you think, Robert? Separation.
It's all about separation. It's the 1 degree of separating.
1 degree.
1 degree.
You know, in the Bible, let me tell you something about the Bible. Jim, you listening? I'm going to preach. In Hebrews, it says, this. You don't even have to believe in the Bible to listen to this. In Hebrews, it says, do not drift. Do not drift, Al. If you are drifting but 1 degree off of the coast in a boat, Albert, you love boats? You get off the coast 1 degree off course and you're only 200 feet away, can you find shore? Absolutely. If you drift 1 degree and you get out a quarter of a mile, Jim, can you still find shore? Absolutely. You're still drifting 1 degree, but when you get out about 2 miles, 1 degree, your tail is lost.
Toast.
You are toast,
You
baby.
are gone.
1 degree, daddy-o.
Yeah.
1 degree. And that's a Bible story for the day.
Ah.
Anyway,
You're quite the preacher. Preacher
baby.
Todd.
Well, you know,
Preacher
that's what we do.
Todd,
So
man.
anyways, I want to take the last this 5 minutes, and I want to talk about my dad a little bit. And here's what we're going to do. Dad, you got my dad here. Help me out. I got to get him on camera.
Oh.
Okay.
He deserves this time.
He deserves this
Okay.
time.
Absolutely.
I feel so special experiencing this.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
so nice.
Well, you got to understand, of course I have a mother, and she's a wonderful mother, and she's not in here right now, but my dad is, and my dad was a very influential man to me. And, one of the biggest piece about being an influential man, and this is like book 2, if I get to write it, what men have done for other men.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna name a chapter after each person that influenced me that was a man. So one chapter will be named Tony, one will be Rob, one will be Dave, and then we'll talk about these stories. But anyways, my dad influenced me in these ways. I mean, he's the one that helped me understand separation. He's the one that said, you can do it. And he went out and did it by action. So when you watch a father grow up, I've told this story before, and I might get a little sentimental here. But the story, Dad, I want to talk about is that you did it for other people. I was probably 8 years old, and I would run from the elementary school to the high school to watch him coach football. And I was probably 8 or 9 years old. And this story stuck with me my whole life. And I would always watch my dad, and I would get the water, and I would do anything to be involved. And one day, the practice wasn't normal. The practice was a little different, and there was no footballs out there. There was just men running back and forth, and men throwing people over their shoulders, and the coaches out there encouraging these men, and other players encouraging men, and they're crawling under rope, and they're climbing over walls. And I was just confused. And finally, my dad kind of got over, and I got his attention. I said, Dad, what's going on? He says, well, son, this is war games today. This is the 70s, Robert. And I said, what do you mean war games, Dad? He says, wait, son, this is Vietnam. These men are going to graduate in 6 months. Most of these men are going to Vietnam.
That's back in the draft.
Back in the draft.
Mm.
Son, some of these men
This is true.
Some of these men are going to probably face death. We have to prepare them to be men. I'm not preparing them to be football players. I'm preparing them to be men, better people, leaders. I'm preparing them to live. This is serious things I'm talking about here. This is not just a father-son love affair. This is true things. This is how we affect people. I don't care if only one person's listening today. That story matters. And you better tell somebody if you heard that story. I want you to do those things. My dad did these things. My dad, I got to tell you, he won 72 football games in a row, world record. What was it? 10 winning seasons consecutive, or was it 9 or 10? We played 8
We
games.
won 11 conference championships in a row.
So he ends up winning 72 in a row. But the irony of this is the first 2 seasons he coached, he lost 1 game each. So he went like 8-1, 8-1, and then he won 72 in a row.
It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. We coached 100 games and won 94 of them and tied 1 and lost a couple. But go back to, Todd, if I may say this, what was going on was Vietnam, just as you said. This was 68, it was 66, 67, 68 when I became head coach. Now today, the gentleman that helps me very, very much is Colonel Sherman.
Absolutely.
He played quarterback for us for 3 years.
And I love Colonel Sherman.
Yes.
He was in Vietnam, and we had Terry Cisco.
No, he didn't go to Vietnam.
Okay, but he was in the service.
He was out later. He caught the war.
Okay. And we had Cisco, and we had some other people. But
Yeah.
I want to get in front of this because I got a minute. So we won 72 in a row, winningest high school football coach in the history of the planet. Does those things. Goes, your total record there was like 95-2 or something like that.
Yeah.
finally loses the national championship game or whatever goes on, and the following season comes back, goes undefeated again, and then he moves to Angola, Indiana, and he becomes my football coach and some other kids in Angola. But this man's story is remarkable because while he's doing all this, he's building a donut franchise. All right?
Well, you had to have a summer job.
Yeah, but you were bringing football players in. You were teaching them to make donuts.
That's
You were
awesome.
taking them to camp. You were moving them across state line. I mean, your genius is like you don't even understand your genius because you're this guy who does things naturally. And I seems like I have to work at things harder than you, Dad. And I just want to let you know, you're a gifted man.
Well, I was blessed.
Yeah.
Yes, I
And
was.
times were a little different. And we're going to talk about those things because times are different, but you are timeless. And your same principles are knocking it out today as they did back in 1965 when I was born, through the 70s and even the 80s. And just a remarkable man. And we're going to be back, and we're going to do some more Tom Saylor talk.
Powerful story.
Legend.
Powerful story.
Teared up.
Bring it back,
It's a
baby.
blessing.
Don't miss it. Don't miss it.